Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first history podcast in History Blitz. My name's Q.
I'm Trip.
And we are your history linebackers coming in with the Blitz.
Blitz.
How you doing today, Trip?
I'm good.
It's Friday. Gotta be doing good on a Friday.
It's I could have got some dome this morning, but I didn't.
Well, yeah, that would have made life better.
Kind of got blue balls.
Yeah,
I thought I had to take a shit, but it wasn't.
It's an epic start to your Friday.
It was terrible.
You got more of the weekend left. You can regain some footing. Who knows?
I got my dog.
I'm going to talk to you about the Iraq War. Now, not the Iraq War. This is the Iraq War. Do you know anything about the Iraq War?
Iraq War?
Yeah.
Iraq? Like
Iraq.
A rock?
Iraq. Yeah, like at the end is a little more silent. A-R-A-U-C-O.
A is an apple?
Yeah. Yes. A is an
so
apple.
So Iraq War.
The Iraq War.
So like throwing
Iraq War.
Rocks.
Anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Talk about some Spaniards, some conquistadors. And we're going to learn about one of my favorite warriors in history. That's going to be the highlight of the episode. We're not going to talk a lot about the war, but we're going to talk about my favorite warrior.
Who's your favorite warrior?
His name's Galvarino.
Galvarino?
Galvarino. He's like a real-life comic book hero. You'll see why in a little bit. So we're just going to jump right in. We're going to start off with a guy named Pedro de Valdivia. Valdivia. We're just going to go, he's going to be Valdivia from now on. I'm not saying the full name. But it's going to take too long. Trust me, once we start getting into these names, you got Pedro de Valdivia, Jorge de la Mendoza, a bunch of people.
Wasn't there an earthquake in Valdivia?
Yeah. Yeah, Valdivia actually becomes a city. They establish a city with the forts and shit. Yeah. So anyways, Valdivia was a Spaniard born around the year 1500. Some people don't really have his birth date all the way set up. Some people say 1497. There's sources that say 1504. But what we do know is that he was born into poverty and became a soldier young in life.
Sounds like our life.
Sounds like us. Yeah, exactly. You can relate a little bit, right? Hopefully not for too long. He went to Italy. He was stationed in Spain. He ended up coming over to the Americas in 1536. And then after an uneventful year in the Americas, he went south to Venezuela and then Peru. And it was there he met with other Spanish conquistadors, and he helped win the Battle of Las Salinas in the year 1538. Now, this battle was important because the governor of Venezuela, they hadn't went further south yet. So there was no Spanish conquistadors, no expeditions. Nobody knew what was south of there. They just knew that there was natives and nothing else. So the governor, Valdivia helped him win the war. The governor gave Valdivia a silver mine and made him a rich dude. So Valdivia kind of just hung out for 2 years.
How rich?
Real rich. He had silver mines. He had slaves mining his mine. He had property.
Was silver or gold more valuable?
Gold was more valuable.
Oh, he wasn't that rich.
He wasn't that rich, but he was still rich enough to be a dude who had slaves. So he was a bad dude. At this point, he decides he's bored. He's rich and he's bored, and he wants to go out and conquer some more. It's been a couple years since he got to go out and do his thing, so he asked the governor for permission. And the governor says, yeah. He says, go ahead and do it. But I'm not going to give you any help. So Valdivia, the soldier that he is, decides, I'm going to sell my silver mine. I'm going to sell everything I have, and we're just going to go on this expedition. We're going to go conquer some shit. Problem is, there was no volunteers. Nobody wanted to go south. Everyone thought that the lands were going to be spoiled, that the villagers were going to be like evil and want to kill them, and they're right, because they shouldn't have went. However, the Spanish king sent over a royal decree for someone else to lead an expedition south as well. So Valdivia ended up teaming up with a guy named Pedro Sanchez de la Hoz, and they decide that they're going to set out with a massive party to go south. They set out with over 1,000 natives, 150 Spaniards, a pack of pigs, a bunch of sacks of seeds, and they're going to start a whole new colony, a whole new life. right?
Did they have weapons, or were the seeds the weapons?
No, they had weapons, but it was mostly underdeveloped. This is the early 1500s. They didn't have a whole lot going on for them, but they were a lot stronger than the natives. The
Did they have
natives
horse?
Yeah, they had horses, mares, all that shit. They had a riding party. They had,
What kind
limited
of riding
knowledge.
party are we talking about?
Not the kind you're thinking of.
All right. Well,
So now, before we get to the next part, the land that they're going into is the land of the Mapuche. Now, I see what you're thinking. The Mapuche are native people, and they live in south central Chile and southwestern Argentina.
I like chili.
Chile's awesome. Have you ever had Chilean food?
No.
Fantastic. Go down to Baracco in Lakewood. It's amazing.
Oh, there's a place called Baracco in Lakewood?
Mm-hmm. You should go there. It's amazing. So, these indigenous people, they've got a wide range of ethnicity. They share religious structures, economic structures, socialities, things like that. And they've been there since around 600 BC, give or take. Here's some fun facts about the Mapuche people. They are very agricultural people. They grow a lot of things like corn, beans, chili peppers, potatoes, squash.
Corn makes whiskey.
Yeah, but they didn't make whiskey. I wish they're going to need it because they would have loved it. Because you know what they were eating?
What were they eating?
They were farming guinea pigs for meat. Yep.
Are those tasty?
I don't know, but I'd eat one.
If I had to, I guess I would.
Hell yeah. And then you know what else they did? They used llamas for wool. And that's how you could tell that someone was a rich man, was because the more llamas you had, the more money you had. So llamas made you rich.
Okay.
So anyways,
I like llamas.
hey, who doesn't like a good llama? So the Spaniards, on their big-ass party, they ended up trekking 11 months before they made it to the Mapocho River. Now, when they made it to the Mapocho River, that's where the Mapuche were living peacefully, not dealing with any conquistadors or expeditions like that. And Valdivia, at first, he was going to be a peaceful man, and he tried winning the natives over with gifts and promises and trying to restore some of the bad temperament that came in when they first got there. And things went well for a couple months. They had a good relationship until they started finding gold mines. Once they started finding gold mines, things kind of went south for them. The Spaniards started becoming greedy, trapping them in labor camps, forcing them to dig for them, basically just mistreating their people, turning them into slaves. And that's when things start to build up for the Arakan Wars. The Arakan Wars were a long-running conflict that actually ended up lasting over 160 years. But most of it was just occasional battles, drawn-out sieges, and slave hunting expeditions. It wasn't like constant fighting. It was a lot of, I wouldn't say peace, but a lot of just kind of sitting around looking angrily at each other. The Spaniards wanted to keep pushing forward, though, and the Mapuche did not want to let them keep pushing. And Valdivia eventually founds the cities of Concepcion, Imperial, and even a city named after himself, Valdivia.
And that's where Valdivia comes in, huh?
Yeah, he named the city after himself. Giant forts. They built, basically big military towns to keep the indigenous people from reclaiming their lands.
But did he name a city after the llamas?
He did not.
That's
You would hope that the imperial city would be after the
inconsiderate.
llamas, but no imperial llamas have been identified. Side note, wouldn't it be cool if they used, battle llamas? You've seen battle elephants, right?
yes,
Battle rhinos.
yeah, those things are badass.
What about a battle llama?
rhino?
Battle llama.
Llama?
Yeah, what about that?
Llamas are kind of badass.
Would you ride a llama into war?
You do spell llama with 2 L's.
That is how you spell it. Llama. Yama.
They do look. Damn, this one's screaming in this picture. Look at this guy. He looks
So you
pissed
telling me you
off.
would ride a llama into war?
Yeah, look at him. He looks pretty serious.
Oh,
look
fuck. All right. We're going to leave a link to this picture for the screaming llamas.
at him.
Would you ride this llama into war?
He kind of looks like a furry toe with eyes.
You are making my opinion of the llama lesser, and I do not want to ride it into war.
But look at this face, dude. Like, this is like if you just said a joke about his mom and he didn't like it.
He said enough of your shit. He said it's about time we rode into this city and took it back for ourselves.
I think the llamas are going to fight back. I would. He's like, fuck, you didn't name that city after me?
So after the llamas got all pissed off, several years went by, and we're in the year 1553. There had been 3 more gold mines established throughout the major cities of Imperial and Concepcion. And the Mapuche people decided that enough was enough, and that their smaller battles in the Arakan War weren't enough. So they appointed a wartime chief called a Toki.
Toki.
Yeah, Toki. Toqui. Hope I'm pronouncing that right.
What is that exactly?
It's their, war chief. Like, anytime that the Mapuche people have to go to a battle or something, they appoint a war chief, like one leader who basically oversees everything in the name of survival for their people. He directs their military, directs the food sources, everything.
Like a general?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he just takes over and basically becomes the top dog.
So they just, this guy could be eating cereal one morning and they just come in and they're just like, hey, you're the Toki.
Well, they
and he's like, oh,
they have a military. They have social structure. The Mapuche, even though they're an indigenous people, they're not completely wild beings. They still have some sort of economic and social structure. They had armies and squadrons and shit like that. So they just took all their generals, got them together, and then they named it the most powerful that they felt would be the Toki.
Did they fight?
No, they didn't fight each other.
So they played chess.
No, I don't think chess was invented yet.
Well, how did they know who's the strongest?
Rochambeau.
Is that facts?
I mean, no. I like to think that these 2 war chiefs, they got together, right? They looked each other square in the eyes, and then you kick each other square in the nuts till one of them decides, I've had enough, and the other one...
What if the one had a sex change before it was a thing?
It really wasn't a thing back then. This is the 1500s, but 1553.
Yeah, that's hurtful.
There's still P's and V's, and that's it.
What if they let the llamas kick him in the balls?
then the sex change might have been a thing.
Look at this llama.
You're still on the llamas? Jesus Christ.
Listen, I think they're a very important thing about this story you're telling me.
All right. So anyways, while you're looking at the pink llama and emo llama.
This llama's got a new haircut.
Yeah, I know. He's got a haircut I want.
He kind of looks like he's got a hoop earring in, too.
All
right.
So, after the Mapuche people elected their Toki, his name is a name that I'm going to pronounce once, screw it up, and we'll never go over it again. His name is Caupolicán. Caupolicán.
That's not that hard. Caupolicán.
Read this. Caupolican. Caupolicán.
Caupolicán. I like
Caupolicán.
Caupolicán.
There you go. And then his second in command was Lautaro. Now, Lautaro was basically the right-hand man, and he did a lot of the work, especially in the fields.
Lautaro's a badass name.
It is, right? Like Mintaro.
Yeah.
From Mortal Kombat. That's what I thought
thinking.
of instantly. I'm like, this dude's going to come in with horse legs.
Lautaro.
And just wreck everyone. Lautaro wins.
Is he actually a bitch?
No, he was a badass.
Okay.
He was.
You can't be a bitch and have the name Lautaro.
Yeah, he actually ended up gathering up about 6,000 soldiers, Mapuche soldiers, and this is the Battle of Tucapel, and this would be a huge victory for the Mapuche people. He's fighting against Valdivia, the Spanish conquistador who originally went in and led the expedition.
Yeah. Yep.
And here, Valdivia would end up being unsuccessful. What happens is
Valdivia lost?
Yeah.
Good. They're fucking the llamas.
On Christmas Day in the year 1553, he arrived at his fort only to be ambushed by a small group of Mapuche. They're in the woods. They don't expect anything's coming down. All of a sudden, boom, ambush happens. They start getting attacked. They're able to push the Mapuche off.
I love getting ambushed by Mapuche.
In the woods?
In the woods, the streets.
I'm never going to the woods with you. Never, ever in my life.
It doesn't matter.
The Spaniards hold them off, but the Mapuche keep coming, and eventually all 6,000 of their people come in and surround them. The Spaniards are tough people. They're not really ones to be quitters, so they keep fighting, and they all die. Everybody dies except two. Two people managed to live.
Who?
A cleric named Pozo and Valdivia. They both got on horses and tried to haul ass out of there.
Oh, pussies.
Yep, Valdivia abandoned his soldiers and abandoned everybody.
And the llamas, dude. I don't like this guy. Valdivia's
well, once you see him rolling up with llamas, you know.
So if I ever go to Valdivia, I'm gonna let the people know.
Eat a llama right in their face. Yep.
That's pretty much what they did.
Yeah, let them know you're here.
So it's a delicacy down in Valdivia.
You know what else is a delicacy? When the Mapuche kill you, you know what they do? What everybody else does. They cut your head off and leave it for everybody to see. Just left it on the forts. Said, what up?
It sounds like what Poochie is. Coochie.
Mapuche. Not Coochie.
Oh. There's a whole different story in my head as you're telling us. Never mind about that ambush thing.
Do not tell me about the ambush. So after they won, they beat Valdivia. This was a huge victory for the Mapuche. And actually, this battle, the victory of the battle, ended up leading to the first Great Mapuche Rebellion.
So are they Mexican or Brazilian or something?
The Mapuche they're an indigenous people, but they're in Argentina and Chile. It's a group, so instead of like Chileans Mexican. Or Argentinians, they're like a big group of people in those countries. They're like aboriginals, like native people. Like for us, it would be Native Americans that lived here before we got here.
Okay, and then the Mexicans went and stole Chile.
No. The Spaniards went in and stole Chile.
Damn Valdivia.
Yeah, Valdivia and all the fucking conquistadors. So, yeah, this sets up the first Great Mapuche Rebellion, which there'd be three of. But we are going to be talking a little bit more about the first rebellion, because this is getting to the part where is my favorite of the whole story. This is the Battle of Lagunillas, and Lagunillas happened November 8th, 1557, just south of the Bio River. Now...
Bio?
Bio. BIO-BIO. This was the Bio River was a huge river.
Is it going to get into why it's called the Bio?
That's just a name. Not like, it doesn't have anything to do with, like, for us, like, biology or double biology or anything like that.
Non-creatives?
No, it's just a name. I think it might have had something to do with their community or maybe their beliefs.
Biohazard, maybe?
I doubt it.
Was it on fire? Like
it is not the Cuyahoga. It was not on fire.
Bastards.
Yeah, they should. I mean, if they would have set it on fire, they might have lasted longer.
Did they let the llamas swim across it?
No, they did not.
The guinea pigs.
Llama's not allowed to get wet. They're like, you ever seen that movie? You know what I'm talking about with Gizmo?
Poor llamas.
No, not llamas. Gizmo. You can't get wet. You can't feed them after midnight.
Llamas turn into fucking gremlins?
Yeah, gremlins. That's what, yeah.
Shut up. No, they don't.
That's what happens in South America.
I think what we need to do...
Listen, if you're a Mapuche warrior, you put on your fucking, your moccasins, you get out your machete, and you know what happens? You feed a llama after midnight, it turns into a gremlin. All right?
Is that what the gremlin looks like?
All right. Anyways. So they're at the Bio River, and there's a general fighting with the Spaniards. His name is Garcia Hurtado de Mendoza, and I'm just going to refer to him as Mendoza at this point.
That's fine.
He led a huge force. It was estimated to be 10 to 15,000 soldiers against the Mapuches in an attempt to conquer some land south of the Bio River. And Mendoza actually puts together a really cool military strategy here. Now, I'm not one for the conquistadors here, but I do like their approach. The river's got two mouths set up right here. It's like one small base that you're not going to be able to see listening at home, but imagine that it's a thin, narrow base at the river at the mouth of the north. And then the river widens, and then eventually it shortens again. It gets smaller and easier to cross at the south point before it goes into another lake, right? So the Mapuche are all posted up on one side of the river and can see all the Spaniards on the other side. Now what they do is the Spaniards set basically a decoy, and they start crossing at the north side of the river. So all the Mapuche go over to the north part of the river to defend them when they start to get there. But what they don't realize is they only sent over a small party to cross there and basically get slaughtered by the Mapuche, while the rest of their army went around the back to the south part of the river. And then they were ambushed.
Love going around back.
Yeah, that's what happens. You sacrifice 200 soldiers and you get rammed right in the back. That's what happens when you join the army. Big green dick.
Facts.
Big green dick.
Llamas spit at you, don't they?
Yeah.
Now,
they
was
do.
that a biohazard? Maybe there's...
He's still on the llamas, man.
Dude, I'm very curious about these llamas.
I guess they brought great wealth, man.
Why they're so damn ugly, because that's an ugly-ass llama, dude. See, he was an outcast.
He's the whole reason the war started.
We're going to name him Glama. Because that's what it says here. Llama Glama.
Llama glama.
See, look, that's what you're talking about right there, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a Fortnite llama.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what happens when you win that llama, right?
Nah.
You go straight to hell.
Well, let's get off this site.
I am not trying to go to hell. All right, so after the Mapuche had been tricked and the Spaniards crossed the river, they were basically surrounded. And generally, the Spaniards also like to kill their enemies. But they were tired of this war. The war had been going on for about 8 years now. 9 years, 8 to 9 years. And they didn't want to keep the battle going any longer than it had to. So they decided they were going to send a message to the Mapuche. They captured about 150 people. Now, mind you, they only lost 2. They lost 2 Spaniards in this battle. Thousands of people fought,
Just
and they
2?
lost 2 Spaniards, yeah.
They're badass. Except
Well,
those 2.
They're fighting. Yeah, I was going to say, well, they're fighting.
Were those 2 human shields? Or
I think
what
one
were
died
they? Like,
from gout.
there's a story behind this.
Well, one had gout.
Oh, see, damn, the Mapuche didn't even get these motherfuckers.
They got got by
They got
cheese.
got by gout.
So
Man.
they captured these 150 Mapuche, and they decided they're going to send a message. So what would you do if you had 150 enemy soldiers and you wanted to send a message?
Cut off heads.
You're close, but they toned it back just a little bit.
Send them back on the llamas.
You were getting there. You're getting there. You're sending them back, but you're going to cut something off. Not
I
that
hope
bad.
it's their toe.
You cut off their hand. Usually what they
that's
would
what
do
I
is
was thinking.
The Spaniards would cut off your right hand and your nose. Okay? That way, you can't fight. You got no right hand to wield a weapon.
So free rhinoplasty.
And yeah, free rhinoplasty.
Okay,
People recognize
I'm
you
there.
now. They know, hey, you're a motherfucking Mapuche, and you got no nose, you're evil, and you're gonna die.
That's badass.
So, but they took the greatest warrior, the greatest Mapuche warrior that they had, and they decided it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for them to just cut off one hand. So they didn't cut off his nose. They cut off both of his hands and sent him back to his people. And you know who that man was that got both his hands cut off?
Valdivia?
That was Galvarino.
Galvarino.
That is
Why'd
the
you
hero.
nod like I was right?
Yeah, your head was in the right place.
Galvarino, Valdivia.
Valdivia was the conquistador. He's dead.
Oh,
he died in
yeah,
the last battle. This is the Battle of Las Islas, and this is the battle where Galvarino is born, and he is my hero. I'm sorry, I said Laguilas. It's Lagunilas.
Did he just die?
No, Galvarino got both his hands cut off.
Oh, I
He's not dead yet. They
Losing
cut
my
off both
mind.
his hands, and with the other 150 people that they cut off their right hands and their nose, and they decided to send them back to the Mapuche, hoping to scare the Mapuche into surrendering. But you know what happened? Not that. That did not happen, because
It did not happen.
the Mapuche people welcomed their disfigured comrades back, and when Galvarino came up to talk to everybody, he gave really heartfelt speech. And when everyone thought that he would be willing to, sit down and die or accept that he's, a cripple, and at this point in time, in the 1500s, you're a native tribes people and you have no hands, you're gonna die. Like, you can't farm.
You
can't
probably die because they don't have the right procedure to
even fix
stop
you.
clot the blood or anything.
Yeah, and that's not even talking about infection or even
It's
surviving
just-
after
you're
that.
done.
How are you
Your
gonna
hands
hunt?
are off. You
How are you gonna farm guinea
can't
pigs
even
with no hands?
masturbate.
You can't masturbate. Well, maybe he can, because you know what they did for him. So he gave all these speeches. He
hurt.
rallied up the crowds. He rallied up the Mapuche. Everyone's
And he
pissed.
made everybody beat him off.
He made. You're getting close.
He's
I like
smart.
where your head's at. They decided that not only was this dude the most badass warrior of that time in that group, but he deserved more. He deserved to take a seat right next to the Toki. He deserved to be the second-hand man of the Toki. The Toki was the war chief, remember?
Yeah. The
So now
general.
he's second in command. And you know what they did for him to make him even more of a badass than he already was?
They gave him a new nose.
No, he didn't lose his nose. He lost both his hands.
Oh yeah. They gave him new hands.
They did. They gave him new hands.
Were they llama hands?
They were not llama hands. I know that would have been the best. He's like, check out my new wool
Did
hands.
they put guinea pigs on his hands?
No, they turned him into a comic book character. Have you ever heard of Wolverine?
No, they did not.
They gave him machetes attached to his wrists where his hands used to be. So he had 2 giant blade arms. And you know what he did? This motherfucker went to war.
Tried to masturbate.
It was actually...
What a dumbass. Galvarino's an idiot.
What they did was actually, after all the battles that he would fight, instead of torturing people and cutting off their hands, he would jack them off and send them back to their comrade.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
He said, listen, take my hands, I'll take your dick.
Ew, well. Okay. So. Oh, man, I can't deal with that. The sight of a giant...
So are we done with the llamas here? Or?
Yeah, we are done with the llamas.
Okay.
The llamas are...
Don't say they're gone, because
They're not gone. They're just dead. They're all dead.
So they're this one?
Is that a llama skeleton?
Yeah, it's a llama skeleton.
Well...
Maybe it kind of looks like a dinosaur. Maybe these are the bones that people have been finding.
Giant llama bones. This is a 30-foot llama femur.
Listen, we don't know how big llamas were back then.
You know what? You're right.
I am right.
We should go to South America and dig up some llama bones.
Llama bones.
If you'd like to donate to our Patreon and help us go to South America to dig up llama bones, please stay tuned while I set up a Patreon.
It's my dream.
So, my boy Galvarino, he's got knife arms now. And you know what he's going to do?
He's about to fuck shit up.
The next 2 years, he fucks shit up. He goes on...
2 years?
For 2 years, yeah. He's in multiple battles.
How did he live 2 years with machete arms?
I don't know. To be honest, you would think that medicine wouldn't be right. A lot of guys died from just regular, like...
Were they machetes or skimmies?
They were, like, long blades, fixed blades. They just took the blades. Here, I'll show you a picture of them. They actually took some...
Oh, my God, there's a picture of the actual...
It's a sketch, yeah.
Oh. I was about to say, dude, you see all the blood stains?
This is a picture of him when they cut his hands off. And there's him leaking some blood.
It's an Indian guy.
Yeah, he's a native tribesman from South America.
See, you should have been showing pictures the whole time like I've been showing the llama.
Well, the thing is, this is an audio platform, so most people won't see them. However, after his 2 years of kicking ass and taking names, Galvarino ends up at a new battle. The Battle of Millerapue. And this is where things get a little dicey for Galvarino.
Are these French people?
Nope.
That's a French name.
Listen. It's
Say it again.
Spain and France are pretty close to each other.
Okay.
Millerapue.
Yeah.
It sounds a little French, I'll give you
Frenchy.
that. But, I mean, they're neighboring countries, and that's just what they called it. So I'm gonna
I found a Green Bay llama.
Shut up, Pack. Now, Galvarino, when he is at this battle, the new battle, the Battle of Millerapue, he gets to have a rematch with Mendoza, the guy who took his hands 2 years ago. Now, he's got an army of over 3,000 natives, and the Mapuche launch a huge offensive on the Spaniards. The Spaniards have defensive position. They have forts, fort at Millerapue. They're able to hold them off. The combat lasts about an hour. And there's multiple accounts.
So what kind of weapons were they using again?
Swords.
Swords, okay.
Yeah, swords, hammers, bow and arrows, shit like that.
The fun stuff.
Yeah, real war shit.
Those pussy ass M16, M4.
No artillery in this war.
Oh. That would have been brutal. Imagine if someone just came out like... Imagine if Lautaro just came out with fucking artillery. Like they're like coming with swords and this guy just pulls out a damn cannon. It's just like, oh fuck.
Where are you from? Well, my scariest thing is, think about it. You're in a country now. You're exploring this wooded country, and now all you've heard about is these tales of tribesmen who are savages. They're wild people. They kill everybody they see, raping and pillaging everything, right? Then you're just sitting in this fort. You're getting ready. They say, the drum, that you hear the drums are coming, the soldiers are coming, there's people whiling, footsteps coming. You come out, and all of a sudden you see people screaming, waving their weapons everywhere, and then a fucking giant man jumps up onto a rock in front of you. And in front of you is this dude who's got fucking 12-inch blades affixed to where his hands should be. And he's just wiling out, killing everybody. They said...
That's scary.
There was accounts of him killing
shit.
people. And he took down... They said he took down over 10 different soldiers. And he killed the second in command for the Spaniards. He killed their second-hand man in that battle. He was a bad motherfucker. They had better weapons. The Spaniards had better weapons, better military tactics. They just didn't have home field advantage. But the Mapuche eventually, they were not a match for Mendoza and his armies. And Galvarino was captured a second time. Now,
A second time
he was captured. Now this...
How did, now they tie him up?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume
You gotta think, he's got swords for hands. This guy...
Yeah, now here's a good question.
Oh, he gets free.
You brought this up. The Mapuche people, now they were before the war, they were really peaceful, known for, like I said, agriculture, creating woven tapestries, shit like that. Once the wartime came, they evolved into a strong, fearless people. Now, just for some background, there is another war leader, one of the Tokis from the time, named Colo Colo. Now, Colo Colo was rumored to be such a badass.
Isn't a colo a butthole?
Colo Colo.
That's butthole.
I don't know, but
Hold on, dude.
Listen.
I'm pretty sure that means butthole in Spanish.
Colo Colo. He was a Toki for the Mapuche about 10 years after all this. And he was in the Battle of Quiapo. And this is how badass this guy was. Colo Colo was rumored to be put to death. And the way that the Spaniards were going to execute him was he was on a standing platform, much like you would if you were to be hanged. But they had a giant spike at the bottom of the platform. And what they would do is they would take the prisoners and they would push them off the platform onto the spike and impale them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know what Colo Colo did when he was set to be put to death? He kicked the executioner off of the platform, but not onto the spike. He kicked him off the platform to be safe, where he didn't die, and then impaled himself on the spike. He jumped off and put himself to death.
Oh, wow.
Because he doesn't give a fuck, and neither do any of the Mapuches. So, when Galvarino was captured, what do you think happened to him? A second time.
He got his hands cut off.
He didn't have hands, bud.
Well, he's got his swords cut off.
I don't know. I honestly don't know if he cut his swords off.
Why did you approach that like you were going to tell me what happened?
Well, you would think that after all this cool shit that happened, he would be, I don't know, they'd cut his feet off and they'd give him some sweet-ass knife legs or something, right? But this is not a movie. It's not a comic book. This is real life.
They just killed his ass.
Yeah, they put him to death.
Okay, yeah, I figured.
But he got a hero's death.
They weren't trying to get sorted up for 2 more years.
No, they were not. They gave him a hero's death, though.
A hero's death?
Yeah, they fed him to the dogs.
That's a hero's death?
To some.
What kind of dogs?
Big ones.
Like Fluffy from Harry Potter?
Not that big.
Oh,
But, I mean,
shit.
just
Why you
Chilean
fight him
animals.
off with his swords?
Maybe.
Or did they dull his
I'm pretty
swords?
sure they probably cut those off. They
put
probably took
some
them out.
rocks on him, motherfuckers. Grind him down.
Just tied some rocks to him. He couldn't lift them. That's basically about it for him.
That'd be pretty brutal. Think about that. Like they shoved his hands into the ground, his swords into the ground. Because you gotta think, like, they couldn't have been that sturdy.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they were sturdy. I mean,
But back then, like, how the fuck did they meld it into his arm or something?
No, I think what they did was, from the reports that I read, they took basically twine, rope, and then they fastened them to the wrist. So basically, he had these things tied to his arms, maybe with a bracer, leather bracers. I mean,
That's
I'm sure it wasn't
still
the most I'm sure you're right. It wasn't the most sturdy, but
For 2 years, shit, that's pretty sturdy.
I'm sure he had to have his blades readjusted and sharpened and shit.
I still can't find what culo means in fucking Spanish. I forgot what
You
it
thinking of
meant.
chulo?
Chulo, is it? There's a song.
Culo?
No, it's not culo, is it?
Coolio?
Colo?
The rapper?
No. No, definitely not the rapper.
Well, all right. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of an ending here. With my boy Galvarino dead, this doesn't mean it's the end of the Iraq Wars. Like I said earlier, the Iraq Wars went for a really long time, up until the end of the 17th century.
I was right. It's butt. Kulo is butt.
Yeah, but that's Kulo, not Colo.
Well, listen, I was close.
No. His name's not Butt. All right?
Listen,
He was a fucking warrior, and he impaled himself because he gave no fucks. Don't ever call him Butt again.
That just sounds kind of stupid to me. I'm gonna impale myself.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, you're on a platform where you've already been captured, and you're going to be put to death. They're going to kill you anyways. He said, fuck you, I'm going to kill myself, because you don't get to kill me. That's fucking badass.
That is kind of
He didn't
badass.
beg. He didn't cry.
Took away the fucking...
Yeah, he took away their fun. He jumped on the spike himself. Can you imagine being that
you get
badass?
no satisfaction here.
That's like if you were on the stand to be put to death in the chair or something. They were like, you had any last words? And you were like, fuck you, and flip the switch yourself. That's fucking badass, all right?
Yeah, that is kind of badass.
I don't care what anyone says.
I kind of want to see someone do that now. Fuck you.
They're like, you've been assigned to be killed by firing squad. Any last words? And you just like punch the guy, take the gun from him, and shoot yourself in the face. Like, that's fucking nuts.
Now they're all standing there like, well, what are we going to do with these rounds?
Who's gonna get fucking paid for
Then they
this?
start shooting each other.
I didn't get to kill anyone. It's bullshit.
Yeah, culo is a vulgar word in Spanish, literally meaning butt or ass, used in a range of coarse, idiomatic expressions. Yep.
Oh, I'm glad I know some Spanish culo butt.
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 Good old butt impaled himself.
His name wasn't butt. Leave him alone.
How do you know you're just not pronouncing it right?
Because it was colo. Yours is culo.
Butt.
Fuck. Oh, well, that's my story of Galvarino and a brief history of the Iraq Wars. What'd you think?
I think that the llamas should have survived.
They did. Most of them did.
You said they died.
They did. They survived for a time.
What the now you're lying to me like you're telling me that my fucking dog ran away or something.
Awesome.
You know my dad
Your
did
dog
that
didn't
to-
run away. He went to a farm upstate.
My dad did that to me one time, asshole. Told me that my fucking turtle ran away. It actually died.
All right, listen. I gotta tell you something. If you believed your turtle fucking ran away, dog.
Well,
Listen, no, I'm not done.
Let's
Listen,
clear
you
it
need to
up.
read a book, motherfucker.
Let's clear it up, all right?
Dogs don't run. What was your turtle's name?
You said dogs don't
Oh,
run.
shit. Turtles don't run. What was your turtle's name? The Flash?
Raphael.
Usain Bolt?
It was Raphael, bud. It's a Ninja Turtle. Listen,
What was he doing? Rebelling against the teenage
we went to
depression
the
system?
Metro Parks, and then he told me he was letting him go to his family, and he literally threw my turtle in the river.
What? Okay, never mind. I thought you said he ran away, but now I'm being told that he threw him in the river. That's...
But I heard he was already dead after all this, like 20 years later.
So you just threw a dead turtle in the river?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that makes it better, but... Fuck, man. Why didn't he just tell you the turtle died?
Because I was young, and I loved that turtle.
I got a turtle. You want it?
No.
All right.
No, I definitely don't want that
His
turtle.
name's Sheldon. He's cool.
I know, Shelly.
Oh, all right.
He's a stinky motherfucker.
He's not that bad anymore.
He's not that bad anymore.
He doesn't smell.
He just tries to commit suicide.
He
every
does.
once in
He
a while.
tries to jump out of his tank. He likes to do backflips. He climbs all the way. He sits on the rock.
So he's
climbs
a
all the way
Ninja
up.
Turtle. So Shelly's the wrong
Yeah,
name
you
for
might
him.
want him, actually. Take him to the Metro Parks and see what happens. Call your dad. You guys can have a bonding experience.
Oh, shit. Oh, man.
All right, well, let's wrap this bitch up and get out of here. You've been listening to History Blitz with Trip, and I'm Q. And we will have a Twitter, a Facebook, probably a Patreon, and some more things coming up in the near future while we get all this set up.
And I'll be sure to look into those llamas, figure out what happened to them.
Yeah, next week we will have a detailed report on llamas from the year 1546 to the year 1558, and hopefully we have some conclusive evidence.
Like, were they black llamas, you know?
These are all important questions.
Or were they metallic llamas?
I think you're getting further away from the answer. But we'll find out next time on History Blitz. Thanks, guys.